Oh, yeah. Hang on, just start trying to set this up again. I didn't go live properly on the first time. This might be it. Is it working? There's a link. See how that goes.
Yeah, that seems live, you know.
Yeah.
I'll try to keep the stream up so I can possibly see the chat. That helps.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Let's see what I'm doing on the Discord thing. All right. Yeah, I can get the chat up on here as well, so I'll just wait until I have some viewers, and it should work. Let's pull that over here. If I get that.
Let's see how screen share would work. Oh.
Okay. Yeah, got a couple of people in there now. Probably just all people from the group again. If anyone wants to say hello in the YouTube comments, let us know you're here. And I've got Luxury on the call with me. So we'll just go over what's happened today. The nice dump that we've had, which wasn't really much of a dump. It was just a bit of a move down. No, not compared to like if you actually zoom out and look at how things have been. Yeah, it's been. I guess we've been in a range for like the last 2 weeks, so this felt like quite a big move down, but in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't much at all.
We seem to really be swing failure in a lot of the lows recently.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to be like a really reoccurring pattern we seem to be having.
Yeah, it's like this. It's almost like a. Because can you see? I should actually share my screen with you so you can see in real time what I'm sharing. That would be useful. Let me just.
Okay, yeah, I can see now.
Cool. Yeah, I think like you were saying, the swing failure patterns that we keep getting of whenever we're in like a low of the range and this consolidation below and then coming back into the range seems to be quite a common thing that we're getting at the moment. Yeah. So it's almost like we're doing a smaller version of what it did after we made the all-time high, and then it came down, took these lows here, consolidated for a while. So we had that initial bounce, then it swept the low, then it bounced again, and then we started to move up. So it feels, it almost is kind of like that. Even the structure here is similar in a way. Like,
That's what you mean,
yeah. We didn't really have this big move up, but we had like these highs coming in, making a bit of a rounded top, took these lows once, bounced, which is like this little section here, and then it moves down again. The only thing I'm thinking is that quite often when it's done this previously is you make the low, so you take out the low, come back test the previous support as resistance, do another time, and then it comes back up, back test as resistance, and then it gets like that third drive down, but we don't seem to have got that now. But yeah, we had this weekly level marked out. So I think everyone knows by now I was in a long, so I went long here. And this is why I don't set hard stop losses. So I could have.
Thinking about mentioning that today. Like, I know a few people that they would buy the long, and they'd set their stop right below that, that low, and then end up doing like what we just did now, doing failure in it.
That's it, and it happens so often. You could have said earlier on, like I was, because I was on stream with Neo earlier as well, and we did come down initially. So that's the one that I bought, and so I got filled like to the dollar, and then it took that low, which for anyone getting in on this that sets the stop straight away, then that's them gone. But I think it just needed a bit more time to play out. This was almost too fast, and then obviously you have that back test of the resistance. So we have this resistance here, which that failed, and then it kind of just feels like, okay, people get in a market here, it bounces, gets a nice bounce, okay, that's kind of confirmed that that's a decent support, come back down, and then you can start filling limit orders down here maybe.
Honestly, when setting stop losses, I think it's, because I don't know if anyone, but I'm not over leveraged in terms of my position size.
No.
Which means I can set, like, I should be setting a lot, more flexible stop losses. Definitely was beneficial, I rule of thumb now, instead of like setting it one low below or like one high above, then I'd probably set it two lows below.
Yeah.
Has room for that swing failure, even if it was to.
Yeah, that's it, and you see it so often. Like we had these lows down here that, okay, you had a really nice level and it bounced, took the low, basically did exactly what we're doing now. So you have the first bounce, then it takes that low really quickly afterwards to get everyone out, has a bounce, and then comes down and then starts to consolidate before another move up. So yeah, I think it looks pretty good. We will be coming into resistance. So we did hit almost that 618. On other exchanges, it probably came into the 618 there, into that golden pocket area, and we had this attempt to. So you've got a little bit of a support and resistance going on here, which again is where that first bounce was. So this would be a level to reclaim and then think about changing market structure that way. But
yeah, I definitely thought we can claim, 57k again. Back into that, I'd say that range area. I'd be looking up for. If you can definitely claim 57k, I'm looking up for around 58.5 at least. Around that point of control, that would look quite nice.
58.5, yeah.
There seems to be forming some nice, bounces or pivots in the charts at the moment. Yeah. Where was it? On my exocharts, sometimes it seems to skip a day. Like it'll literally just skip a day on the chart.
Right.
It will miss. I miss like a whole day's worth of data on the chart. And that's quite annoying.
That's happened to me before, but I don't know if it's just like a bug with Exo or what the problem is. Someone's just said in the Discord, is there another link? Have you got the YouTube open there as well still?
Yeah, I should do. Yeah.
Do you mind just posting that into the Discord chat? Yeah, I'm not sure because I had to start it twice whether it went wrong. Cool. Okay. So I think, although I'm in a long here, it is still. I think we've still got to think of what the potential downside.
Exactly. Think the levels to the downside.
Yeah, because we still are making these lower lows and lower highs at the moment. So until market structure changes and we properly get back inside this range, that's still obviously a possibility that we could continue going down further. So it has had that rejection, but you'd hope that okay, that's going to be resistance still. So for now, the market structure is still bearish, but I'm more than happy to buy buy where we are now. But yeah, in terms of like what other support we've got, I think everyone knows that you've got the gap, the CME gap, which is really obvious, and that's right inside the golden pocket here. So that would be a really, if this was, yeah.
People, I think it gives everyone a reason to say, oh, that's why we bounced there. Everyone would think it's the CME gap that we bounced there. They really wouldn't be aware of the golden pocket, I don't think.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and there's a lot of confluence for that as well, because you've got these lows. So it could take these lows, it could take these lows, and then if it comes below here, then that's like that's bearish macro. So you're not going to be able to come down any lower than that and still still have this consolidation going on. You really don't want to be taking out this, unless of course you're looking for this harmonic, which brings us down into like the 50k or something like that. But I don't see that it's there. It's a possibility, but I'm not looking for that yet. Mm-hmm. And I was saying the other day as well that it almost feels like so far all the gaps have filled. So every time we've got a CME gap, it's filled, and it would be quite nice for there to be one that just doesn't, and it's one that just keeps, especially with the fact that we did go through a month-long, we've gone through a month-long consolidation already, and it's quite easy for people to start to get bearish as soon as we start to just move away from the highs up here. And now everyone's looking for the CME gap, but this is kind of, it's one of those where
I don't know if it's going to even get down there. Like if everyone, like everyone says, once everyone's looking for a certain level, it's quite, it's too obvious for it to actually happen and play out that way.
Yeah.
Although I'd like it to.
yeah, I'd definitely buy if we do come down here. And as well, because we've got these lows coming in here, it's just simple trend line. So it could always like break down out of that, get people bearish again, and continue up that way.
Yeah, the market changes really quickly.
yeah, like everyone yesterday was super bullish, myself included. I do think things are really good overall. Like the market is still very bullish on the whole, but it's like today everything's just, the sentiment's just changed really quickly, just from having a 3% move.
Yeah, alts are down as well today as well. I think that's probably majorly why.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah, I think so. There were a lot of people that would have been buying the breakouts on the alts over the last couple of days, and now a lot of those, like Ethereum, Litecoin, etc., are just they're back testing kind of major support now. Like there's been some, especially on the USD pairs. So yeah, you have Ethereum. Oh, trade the breakout. No, down it comes.
I mean, I never trade the breakout.
No. But again, this was this even more so than Bitcoin. So Ethereum was that's where I've gone and really heavily into a long, because this is exactly what I was looking for anyway. So there's been no backtest of this previous all-time high in the weekly levels that we've had here. So I've been looking for, as soon as we break through this level, it's just like, this is an obvious trade that you take. Like I'd take that all day long. Like a back test of previous resistance, you just buy that. And that's what gave me even more confidence in Bitcoin, is that it almost felt like this was being led in a way by Ethereum. So that was a great trade. You front run the 618 here. It didn't even go into the golden pocket there. So maybe on log, no. But again, it was a weekly level. a daily order block that we had here, and
played out nicely as well.
Yeah.
I think we're finding this on these pairs at this daily level. I've really not struggling to break through it. It's like 2011. I've got a daily there as well.
On the BTC pair.
Oh no, I wasn't looking on the USD pair for this one. I don't really like to look at USD pair because Bitcoin, but.
Oh yeah, of course you got these dailies here, then, haven't you?
Like if you put it up and then just zoom in, like really clear resistance. That was a smaller time frame.
Wait, are you just talking about like this daily here that then is? Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't have that on my chart.
Seems quite key. If we can reclaim that, then
Yeah, that's a big level. So you could expect, again, maybe this comes down this time. With Ethereum, it's been making these higher lows already, so it's just got to change market structure. So if it can reclaim that, and
exactly.
Like with Ethereum, I'm trading this as a swing to all-time highs. I think Bitcoin not so much. But yeah, well,
Bitcoin, I feel like it could stay range bound for quite a bit longer. It's quite a large range, so
yeah,
flipping sentiment every time.
yeah, and it does feel that there's a certain amount of suppression, like that every time price attempts to break out of this range, it just always ends up back into it. And we've got, so there's the Coinbase IPO listing on the 16th of this month, which brings it really nicely into this, like the apex of this like pennant triangle thing that it's forming. So I wouldn't be surprised just to see it stay in this range for another week. Just because like with it seems like that you've had the Coinbase announcement pump, we've probably had the dump now, and then okay, that's both sides shaken out and consolidate, and then see what happens when the IPO actually launches. I don't know how much it's gonna. Yeah, I don't know. The market's all looking at it, but whether it has a big effect, I'm not so sure. Yeah.
I like that of your chart. It looks quite really clean. Nice.
Thanks. Yeah, I started.
Oh, sorry. No, go on. Go on.
No, I wiped my chart completely. It was last night actually. It started having too many more levels, so at the moment all of this is a mess. I need to reorganize, so everything's just horizontal ray and all these fibs and stuff that I need to actually start labeling and putting back into folders again. But yeah, a couple of people in the chat are asking for EOS, so I'll just go over that quickly, and then if you want to do a screen share yourself or something, we can try that.
Yeah, I don't
mind. Cool. EOS. Yeah, just hit the weekly level, which is there you go. So I had this marked out, like crypto just moves a lot faster than I can draw lines, like squiggly lines. So every time I draw a squiggly line, it's like you can expect that to happen and 10 times quicker. So that can go, but it's a backtest of the weekly again here on EOS, which is whoa. Okay.
I remember seeing you posting this, and I was like, I'm gonna keep my eyes on this. You know, when you posted before, it was at like time low, and it was at the past all-time low. And I was like, if it breaks above, and I just never seem to got the alert. I didn't put the alert on my.
Yeah, because that's it. I've been long EOS since. Yeah, it was here, wasn't it? So we took the lows and consolidated under there for a bit, but then as soon as it came back in, I think it must have been this that I was buying, because I've got that there. So I've been long from this massive, just here's the low, takes them, does this kind of double bottom thing back into the range, consolidates there for a while, and then you just hit the golden pocket here, and then it's just up. How how far is that? That's the annoying thing with this trade is it happened. Yeah, so it happened on the 31st of March, which is when the ban on Bybit came into effect. So so I took this trade and then I was like, oh shit, it's it's on the account that I had to swap. So I think I closed it and transferred over and then got into another long as soon as my funds arrived and carried on from there. But I did take a long, I think, on Binance as well for EOS. But yeah, it looks good. So obviously it's taken these, so the highs, which is where I just had this liquidity label here, but really the key support here is this weekly level. So if it can maintain this weekly, and it reminds me a little bit of Cardano when that was at its lows and it was in accumulation, it just started to ladder itself up. So if maybe it could get a bit of consolidation in here and just then attempt another move higher. The problem is it's been in this massive downtrend for such a long time that
Could be some sort of bump and run maybe. But...
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like it's as low risk as you can possibly get. Like it could, if Bitcoin really starts moving up, I think at some point it will probably come back and test this monthly level. Just because the resistance still is so huge. So it's had a really nice impulse up and it could get continuation, but I had this as a massive area of support initially. So that now obviously becomes bearish. So that's from, yeah, when it was attempting to hold as a high here. So it could, I don't know. I don't know if it if it does that and then comes all the way back down here again into the monthly, then it comes back up. It's
but once it breaks out that trend line, I see then.
Yeah.
Then I'd say that's quite a good opportunity. Hopefully, some sort of double bottom here. Yeah. What altcoins would you say you're holding in the most? You know, in terms of long. You know, if you want to get into that.
Yeah. So I've got like a fair bit of EOS. So I've been on the USD pair. I've just been accumulating that. Basically, I've been doing that for ages. Every time it came into this, like, $2.50 to $2.30, I was accumulating that, and then again it's just moving up. So again, there's another squiggly line, and it hit that one. So EOS, just, you could basically throw a dartboard at any alt, and they look pretty good at the moment, unless it's already clearly topped out. Ethereum looks really good. So with Ethereum, and it just did its typical thing of waiting until the last day of the month to reclaim a important monthly level. So yeah, it lost this monthly and then managed to reclaim it and got a good bounce, and now it's just, yeah, you'd think start to move up from there again possibly. So Ethereum looks good. It's just gradually working its way through all the resistance, and then once it's cleared that, then you've got what, like a 3x probably when it actually decides to properly go. So it's going to take a while. I think like Ethereum just moves slow, but that looks good. I've just been buying spot Ethereum on dips and taking the odd trade on that just to try and like just short trades, just get a bit more, so in and out, and then you just try and accumulate more Ethereum. Same with Litecoin, really.
Another way in which I could see, you know, the way Bitcoin is playing out at the moment, now just on the chart thinking out loud, we could, you know, say this is like deviation at the lows of this range, you deviation and then possible expansion to get back up to around 60k again. That seems possible. I wouldn't throw it out the window yet.
Yeah, sure. So I've just seen on the chat, someone saying your audio is really low again. Let me just see if I can. Oh, this is why people should say earlier if it's audio.
Do I sound quiet to you, or you?
Yeah, you're okay to me. I think the level on the stream is just quite quiet. That always happens. Let me see if I can sort this out. Audio speaker. Just say something again quickly. No. Now I can't hear you.
Hello. Hello. Is that okay? Can you hear me now?
Oh, I need to figure out how to do this properly.
Hello.
Hey, I'm just.
Is that alright now? Do I sound better? I've kind of sorted out maybe a headset situation. Or is it worse?
No, that sounds better. I think I've not got it set up on the stream properly. So you're on there, but it's just really quiet. So I need to sort out the audio settings again. Okay, people are saying it's better. So I'll keep you coming through. I think just the speakers, and then at least my mic picks you up.
Yeah.
So it was coming through as an audio source, but the audio source is really quiet. So if I turn my speakers up loud, then that should be better. Okay, people are saying they can hear you now. Cool.
I don't mind going through some chart suggestions. If people want to.
Yeah.
Throw some down.
Do you want to do a screen share? And
yeah, sure.
Yeah, if you. So I'll stop sharing mine. And yeah, then you can share yours, and I'll bring that up on the screen, and then I can. I might see if I can sort the audio stuff out while I'm doing that.
Yeah.
All right, great. I'll just stop sharing. So
it says you have disabled the screen sharing facility. Also, whilst we're here, we might as well notice it says the meeting time is 6 minutes left. So if that cuts us out in 6 minutes, then
yeah, should we? Let me just end this now then, and then you can do a share. Eventually, I'll make this much more streamlined. Yeah. I'll end Zoom. Normally, if it's for two people, it should carry on. But I'll just end this. Then we'll come back in, and I will.
Just send me that.
Yeah, we'll do. All right. So, cool. Okay, I'm just gonna set up just get luxury back in the room. And if I set audio settings. Same system. Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. There we go.
Okay. Clarky in the YouTube just saying, why don't we use Google Hangouts instead? It probably would make sense. Like the Google Hangouts, Teams, whatever, they're all a lot better than Zoom actually. So yeah, I'm going to. I just want to see if I can just get your audio better now that you're back in here. Output, desktop audio, properties. No, I think.
I don't know if you still hear me, yeah? Is that all good?
Okay, if you just say something again, I'm not sure if I can hear.
Yeah, hello.
Okay,
Good.
so. Oh, will it work on my headphones? I think now the stream can hear you, but I can't.
Oh gosh.
Why is it doing this? Yeah, I can't seem to figure out how to get it on with you talking.
If they can hear me,
Yeah,
you can hear me, or
yeah, we'll go for this. We'll just do this. Yeah,
does it sound good?
It sounds okay for me. I'm not sure how it sounds for people in the stream. But I've pulled up the Zoom just so it's overlapping.
Yeah.
On here, and there we go. Now everyone can see your screen. And we'll go for that. Oh man, streaming is weird.
Yeah. What was I gonna think of going through? Any suggestions on what I could go through? What do you think I should go through right now? You know, can you give me any suggestions, or should I just go through my Bitcoin rundown at the moment?
Yeah. If you go through Bitcoin, and yeah, just what you're looking at the moment, and yeah, kind of.
that one-to-one fib time everyone was talking about, there's a possibility that could have formed a pivot low. Like that was, I've been looking at that for a little bit, thinking that instead of performing some sort of pivot high, it could have performed some sort of pivot low. I was, because literally on the dot, it seems to have formed this low here, which gives me, if we put this up here, let me draw this here. Like you had it as well, I feel like this could be a good long position, especially up to, I'd say the top of the range, maybe.
Yeah.
That's what I was. I mean, I've got into a long, I've been in a long, I'm still in my long from around 50 to 100. I think I still haven't closed that, to be honest. I took some profit, but I'm letting the rest run. If I get stopped out down, it would have to come back, to around here for me to get stopped out.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm kind of looking at something like this with stops below, this low. I'd probably keep it below here because we still could, again, do another swing failure pattern of these lows here. So I'm going to put that there. Load that as SFP. And that could, I'm just hesitant to, even compound onto my long here because the way we've been SFP recently, it just hasn't been really too nice to trade, I don't think.
Yeah,
however, on that, can you see this? Will this show it to you? My screen share.
I'm still seeing a chart. If you're trying.
Okay, hold on. I'm not going to sort this. Optimize. Oh, here we go. I can do this. Okay, you can see this now as well. I mean, I like to use this quite a lot.
Yeah.
Like this, really, for me, it's good because I've got a few people messaging me regarding how to, identify, confirmation of like pivot changes. Honestly, I'd say this is for me what I've been using a lot. Like really, in terms of identifying liquidations, it gives good, turning points. However, this move here, it didn't really, no one really got liquidated. I'd just say it's a lot of people getting stopped out there long. And so not really any liquidations, but people getting stopped out and then would have to buy back in higher. It's probably what's going to fuel this move back up, I'm feeling.
Yeah, sure.
But this, whenever we seem to come, I mark out my key levels. So I would have had this weekly here. And then seeing a lot of these people getting, we had on BitMEX 15 million liquidations on that fall.
Yeah.
It would have given you confirmation just to go, well, put into a position and hopefully it goes up and hits resistance as we did here to come back down. But that's why I still think, if we could still come lower because on that most previous move down, we didn't have as many liquidations. So apart from that, I can't really say too much about Bitcoin. It's just range bound as usual.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I think for the liquidations on that second move down, you're not going to get the same, there just won't be the same amount because you're not going to have all the people from higher up that are in, because that probably would have liquidated
been liquidated already.
Yeah, they're already out, and then it's really only people who are just going in on stupid high leverage at the highs, because there wasn't, that's probably only like a 0.5% move down again that it did, because the move itself hasn't been huge. So if we're thinking 57 to, okay, it did 57 to 55, so 50, so what's I don't know. It's a very small amount, so it's not going to liquidate that many people on that next move down that it did. So
yeah, which screen am I sharing? Oh, okay. Yeah, hopefully you can see my screen now again.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Honestly, I'll be looking at GRT. I'm very interested in this. I've been
analysing this quite a lot recently. Done quite a lot of work on it here as well. This trend line seems to be forming really, nice support along the way at the moment. It's just trying to keep it simple with this analysis, but trend line and CC, I keep accumulating. I was accumulating a lot down here.
Yeah.
When we were down here, that's probably where I accumulate the most. But GRT is one of my longer term holds, so that's what I'm looking for, if I'm honest. Hopefully a move up. Probably take out if I have the wave 3 in at the top. Was it? Yeah. I'm hoping for something along the lines of this.
Yeah, I had something similar, because you can almost draw a fractal from the first so that like first ever pump it had, and just redraw that. It lines up quite nicely again.
It's so similar. It's literally looking so similar.
So it's almost like we're at that C point now, and it's just starting to form. So the green, that first C where you've got on the 2, it's almost like we're all the way down there, and it's starting just to make these down there. And
it does seem quite similar, doesn't it? Really. Do you hold any? So we'll get into the altcoins you're holding. I mean, do you hold So you said you're holding a lot of EOS. I'm guessing Ethereum and Bitcoin are standard.
Yeah, I've got the stand one. I've got some GRT, so I'm in a trade on that. I was saying earlier, I think I had in total today 18 alt positions fill.
Wow.
On this drop, so I took profit on a load of stuff yesterday, and some of those I'm still holding. So a few of those were just compounding. So I've got Acro, Carver, RSR, KSM, Vet. I've got GRT, then Algo, SXP, CRV. So there's a few there. Ocean.
Wow.
So a lot of those were just compounding on existing positions that I've been holding for a while. But then I had a few new ones that I bought as well. So a few that I added onto my watch list yesterday that just came straight into, like, I was just able to buy straight away. So Zen, Serum, and a few others as well. So I've got a fair few alts now open.
Kind of similar-ish to me. I took profit on a lot of alts yesterday. Well, one being Cardano, it moved up a decent.
Yeah, I think. Oh, are you still there? I can't hear you. Wait for it to. More technical difficulties.
Hello.
Oh, you're back.
Oh, there we go. No idea what's happening there.
Yeah, he just disappeared.
Let me put my screen back up again, I guess, as well.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I can just drag that back over again.
Which one was it? Yeah. Yeah. I was saying I sold a bit of my Cardano yesterday, but overall still quite bullish on that as well.
Mm-hmm.
I want to start a chart and go fresh through it, like from the beginning. Do you want to does anyone put any ideas in the chat or anything?
What's one that's been interesting? Yeah, if anyone has any ideas for a chart to go over from scratch, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
If not, I'll try and find one. One that looks good.
Oh, I think Ethereum is trying to reclaim that daily I was talking about.
There we go. Yeah. Nice. See, at the moment, I really like CRV, Carver, and Acro are all looking pretty good to me for different reasons. So if you wanted to have a look at any of those, they might be ones that you've, yeah.
I haven't really looked at Carver in a long time. Oh, I got some old stuff on here. Let's go from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So key monthly levels. Let's get these in. I'll leave that.
Yeah.
So how often are you looking to, do some streams then, mate? Is it, how often do you think we're going to be doing these?
I think just whenever, if I'm around and if I'm not like, sometimes during, like, I'm always looking at the charts anyway, and this is kind of what I'm doing at the moment. We're in a bull market, so I'm pretty much trading all the time anyway, so I may as well just once I'm in positions and I'm just chilling in positions, then a lot of the time I'm just thinking I'll come onto stream, and yeah, it's
that sounds good.
so I think what I'm hoping to do is I'll make like the Friday night sessions whenever I'm around on the Friday nights. At the moment I'm kind of always around anyway, but I'll make those regular things and get like groups of people in and just have it as like a Q&A thing, and just whoever, a free for all, whoever wants to share can share. Then midweek evenings it'd be quite nice to do things like this, like so doing streams just with yourself, or like other people who have specific things they want to talk about. That'd be quite cool. So if like the evening streams are ones with other people, and then I'm going to try and do daily updates in the morning as much as possible as well, which will just be more either like silent charting kind of thing, or static videos that I just do a quick morning update and stuff on the charts. So
that sounds good.
Yeah, it's crazy. I can't even remember. Did I do the morning update? Was today, wasn't it? I
think it was today.
You lose track of time. It feels like I did that for like ages ago. It's been such a crazy day because I did the stream.
I think Cavers in a very good situation, if I'm honest. Just like through looking at it, that does definitely look promising.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it's changed its market structure now.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing as well. It looks just, it's one of those where, again, if you're thinking patterns repeat and certain alts will just do similar things, like we just saw in GRT, as it's almost exactly copied the market kind of structure that it had previously. So for Carver,
if you can see my screen still, you see this move here. So it's very similar to that.
yeah.
Really similar. We could be I feel like we're in this stage here. This stage here. Look, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if you got a quite a sharp move up to the upside quite soon. But in terms of levels, we're above both weeklies at the moment. Class is important, but because all the way down it was just red week, so there wasn't too much. There isn't too much until up here this weekly, I'd say. So if you're in a long, that's definitely good you're in a good position, I say, for now.
That's it. That's one of those for me where I've just been. It's more of a recent pickup as well. Like I've got in. So it was a couple of weeks ago that I started, and it was around, what was that, 10k sat. So overall I'm sat around there. I've got a spot position and I've got a leveraged long on it as well on the USDT pair. The USD chart looks really good as well.
The thing is with alts, I can't seem to get myself to do like, go proper in depth on the analysis.
Yeah.
I seem to just do like, like first level analysis almost, where I literally mark out dailies, etc. And then that's dailies, weeklies, months, those horizontals, and then from that, there's not really so much to do because it's really Bitcoin orientated, the moves, I think.
Yeah, it's the same for me, because the thing with alts as well is you don't need to do in-depth and like maybe on Ethereum, because that's Ethereum's kind of that weird middle ground between being advanced like Bitcoin and just being an alt. It's one of those where it's the Bitcoin of the altcoins really. So you can be a bit more advanced with that, but with alts you've got thousands and thousands to choose from, so you may as well just say, okay, I just want a long or short horizontal support and resistance. So you just mark your weeklies, you mark your dailies, you mark your monthlies, and you just wait. So you set alerts and you just wait for whichever alts hit them. And if that's the strategy you use, you don't need to do anything else on them, because it's like I could have weekly levels set on 20 different alts, for example, and 3 of them might hit, but to get those 3, that's enough. So that tends to be why I keep my alt trading just really, really simple, is that you just, like, there's so many to choose from that there's just you can't miss out, really. There's always a trade there.
There's always an opportunity there for alts, I'd say.
Like every single day you'll look and there is an alt hitting a level that you've marked. It's every day. Somewhere, as long as you're looking at enough of them, they're going to happen every day. So
I'm going to try to get a range here at 28th of February or the 10th. So I like to do this. These levels. That's how I got that. The 60,375. That level from. I wish I was awake for that. Honestly, I really would have taken that short. I was so ready. I just don't like setting limit orders recently. They just don't seem to. If I'm not there, I'd like to see how the trade's going along. I mean.
Just while you're doing that, I've just seen a couple of questions on the chat again. So SK says, what's it like when the bull market is over? Is it a lot harder making significant gains, or do you make the gains trading alts instead? So bull market, bear market differences for me, in a bull market, I just find I can be a lot more relaxed with my trading. I don't feel the need to get perfect entries and perfect exits so much, and I don't feel the need to get in and out as quickly. So I'd happily buy areas. So for example, today, I feel like I still have bullish sentiment, and I still feel that the market is bullish. So you can almost just it sounds kind of bad, but in a bull market you don't have to think so much. You get a dip and it hits levels that you've highlighted, and for me, I just automatically think I'll just buy that. It's a discount, because I'm confident in the way that the market is.
Yeah, exactly.
It's especially on alts, because Bitcoin's been bullish for a year already. It's just been going up and up since like last March. Alts have been very different. So they had one kind of small alt cycle last September, and up until the last few weeks, they've all just been beaten down, like in the Bitcoin pairings. So all of the altcoins, or a vast majority of them until recently, have been just hanging out at like their all-time lows on the Bitcoin pair. So the risk with altcoins is very low, I feel. So I'm happy to use the capital that I have to move into alt positions at the moment. So I feel that that's something that's a lot easier in a bull market. Is you can just it's a lot easier just to find projects that look good, and you can do very simple analysis on the chart, and a lot of the time it works out. Like, you have these flushes like we had today, but even if you're caught on the wrong side, the good thing about bull markets is they tend to give you an exit sooner rather than later. It's just whether you want to eat the funding for that amount of time while it's underwater or anything, which I don't like holding positions underwater, but sometimes sometimes with volatility it happens, because alts will go a lot deeper because they're a lot less liquid than Bitcoin, so they might go a bit deeper than you expected, but as long as they reclaim levels, then it's okay. In a bear market and in a ranging market, so with Bitcoin at the moment being range bound, it's a bit of a different strategy. You just have to get a bit more, or a lot more technical. You have to know
the levels.
Yeah, you have to know the levels that you're going to trade and get the right entries and exits, and you also need to be in and out a lot quicker when it's in a bear market or a neutral market, because there's not the chance of, it's not as forgiving. So if a trade goes wrong, you might never get the chance to get out of it in profit. So yeah, for me, it's much more important to. In a way, it's easier in a bear market, because there's less FOMO involved. You just know that, okay, I'm doing this to make more of whatever asset it is you want to make more of, whether that's US dollars or more Bitcoin. In a bull market, there's a bit more FOMO because you don't want to miss the big moves. But yeah, that hopefully that clears it up a little bit.
I mean, mate, what's your, coming towards the end? Are you going to be taking all alts out into BTC, Bitcoin, or will you be trading same obviously like USDC or?
So yeah, what I tend to do is I will I'll regularly check over positions. So I'm constantly selling back into USDT. Whenever I sell alts, or whenever I take profit on things, I tend to sell into US dollars. And then okay, yeah, thinking how to explain it. So if I've got an alt trade, I'll sell that alt if it has a US dollar pair. I normally buy it with the Bitcoin pair, and I'll sell it into US dollars, and then I have USD to either tuck that away as being, okay, this is bull market profits, and I just gradually tuck away US dollars so that I'm not overexposed when it comes to the end of the bull run in crypto positions. But also then it means that I can move. So when we have a dip like we've had today, I can use some of that US dollar profit to put that into Bitcoin and to then distribute it out to other alts and things. So when things are in a bull market, like the aim for me is to gradually, it's like a scale. Like, so you start off and everything's in Bitcoin and in crypto. Like you start the bull run, you want to have the majority of your assets in crypto, and then you gradually just, the scales kind of tip in the favor of US dollars towards the end of it. And I'm hoping that by the time things do top out, that you almost tip that scale into, you've got more US dollar profit at that point than you have crypto left.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I think that's a good question to go over, because I know there's probably, even myself, I'm still trying to work out how to get out of,
Yeah.
I'm consistently taking profits and moving a lot of stuff over to USDT as well and USDC. But if you think, Bitcoin, I'd say Ethereum and Switchboard, those three for me, they're ones I feel like I'll be holding for a while to go forward. I've always had my hodl bags that I don't think I'll get rid of for a while. But
that's it. I think
they're trying to take all the other profits along with me.
Yeah, because there are certain coins for me as well that I'm happy to hold through a drawdown, and I'll just keep trading those as long as you can keep trading them. But as long as you're taking profit regularly and you're putting that aside, so either just put it aside like completely and don't touch that, just have your US dollar profit there, or move it into Bitcoin or whatever you want to do with it, just keep on taking those profits, then I think that's a good way to go about it. You don't want to be too exposed, especially at this stage where we're probably past the midpoint of like this kind of parabolic phase.
I'm on a Bitcoin. I've got this 4 key levels, I'd say here. I don't know if I've had them on the screen now for a little bit.
Yeah, I've still got your screen.
It seems, they seem quite well respected in terms of I'd say the most important levels I would have been looking at roughly, deviation at both the highs and the lows before expansion to the highs. So I'm looking really for the range low again, like 54k, which coincides with, I'm pretty sure.
That's the and you've got the CME gap there as well.
It's looking strong. It's a very strong area. I'll be inclined to get into another compound on here. But apart from that, did we hit the 886 on this move up here? I don't think so. We got close. But also a combination of fib levels I've been using are it's the 786 and the 83. I don't really see anyone use the 83, but it really has been powerful for me in terms of picking out positions when the CC doesn't, do it. But because I kind of use it, just as powerfully as the CC, basically. It can pick out key levels that, if the CC gets, basically blasted through, I'd usually look to the 8.3 for a good holding level. It's kind of what I've been doing recently, is levels of confidence. Up here it seems to work a decent bit as well.
Yeah, that looks really good.
Coming up with the value highs and honestly, if I'm really looking for, I'll just draw this out real quick. Really looking for this, probably. The thing is, with stocks below the low there, because we have deviation so far down, then the risk to reward here isn't amazing.
It's probably one of those where like you'd have to just know you can take the long there, but it's probably one of those where you'd have to wait for an initial low to get put in, and then it does a swing failure like it's done today, and then you can get your invalidation off of that, because just by buying it on the first attempt, great for a scalp, but then you can't really.
And what I've learned is, you don't always have to catch the absolute low of these moves to get into a good trade. You know,
Exactly.
Because most likely if it's going to do something like this and then end up going back up. So, you know, somewhere along this move down here is where, you know, you could get confirmation to get into your position, I'd say. That'd be quite good.
Yeah, and you find often at the lows, when it's a proper low that's put in, it tends to hang around there for a while.
For a while, yeah. That's what it's definitely something I learned at the beginning, was to not always try and catch the dollar high or the low. Obviously, it's quite nice if you try to scalp it, but in terms of the swing positions, if you can wait for confirmation, it's probably better so you catch the bigger moves as well.
Yeah, and I think that's it. The often the final low or the final high that is put in isn't the one that's technical anyway. So if you're looking at a level, that level could be, so you have like an initial bounce off of that level, and then it comes to take those lows, and at that point I think the market just looks for liquidations and for shaking out as many people as possible. It's not thinking it's still like, okay, we're in that area of a technical area, but the absolute like dollar high or low after a big move anyway isn't usually the technical one. Usually the technical level comes before or after, when the final like flush.
I mean, the only thing that would get me hesitant here is we've had so many, you know, touch points at this region that a fourth touch point here, you know, it just seems like basically a fifth. It would seem too obvious to just cause a bounce. That's also what I was thinking about. But we have good reason to bounce here, but then we also have reason to, you know, just blast through this and continue lower, I think, if we were to come down, obviously, because we're still above this high volume node. So, you know, looking for the up levels at the moment.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Come down yet.
Yeah, because you could probably look from where we are now, probably back like that point of control, maybe slightly lower. So there'll be some fib levels, maybe from like the high, the April high down to where we are now. From like the one on the 1st of April. So there's probably some good fibs.
Yeah, I'll probably look for the obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
BC, roughly on that point of control. That's
so if we came up into that point of control area, then maybe a move down to 54k after that would be quite nice.
I, honestly, because if we look at it, you know, on the medium short term, you know, we're forming high highs, lower highs and lower lows. So possibly that, you know, and then further to here before we get actually a move up.
Yeah, and that would be it's basically a nice little 3 drives pattern down into that 54.
Yeah, that would actually. And then, I might have to. How would we do this? Well, it's not perfect, but something like that before continuation up, I'm guessing. But
that's almost going back to what I was saying earlier about how on the bigger structure that we had in March that looks quite similar to this, it was one of those 3 drives that it did.
I mean, I remember I had a 3 drive pattern planned out. It was similar to one of them Daniel's posted as well. But I honestly thought that was going to play out, especially when we came up to here. I mean, it still could play out, or we come, you know, do some sort of movement down here to come back, and then, but we formed such a range at the highs now that I don't think it's valid anymore to that extent. Okay, so we have this.
it's quite a nice level up there.
Yeah.
Because you could take the highs from that quick move we had up the other day.
Which one we were talking about here? Yeah, do you mean the one from the 1st of April?
Just before we dropped, so the wick
that's
basically
here.
In there, yeah. So if it took that high there, then you've got the point of control just above that.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That would. Oh, wow. That would work really nice. That's what you mean.
Yeah.
So we could do like this, take the point of control, and the CC come back in. Yeah. Gosh. Yeah, I just need to be more lenient with myself in terms of stops I set myself. I mean, because I wouldn't like seeing myself go underwater before, I set not a hard stop loss, but if I saw it coming down a bit further, I would have closed my position. But I feel like it's being lenient, not being over leveraged in the position, and then being able to actually know where you're wrong, and not just if it takes out the most previous low.
Yeah, that's it. It's especially with the volatility still fairly high. Like we're still doing. So what today was a 4%, 5% day. It's quite a lot for one day of trading, and you don't want to be over leveraged on that. It's if you've got a 5 to 10% move happening, or the potential for that to happen in a day still, then you're really not going to be wanting to take that on a lot of leverage unless you do get really good levels and you're getting in and out quickly.
I mean, I know you trade, I'm guessing, right? So how much leverage would you say? People always ask me how much leverage to use. I mean, I feel like it's not really a simple question in terms of use this amount.
Yeah,
it's always...
I always use cross, but it rarely goes on the actual account I have. Like it's very rare that any position that I'll take will be above overall like a 1x, even though it's on cross, which is 100 no matter what. I don't often use more than my account balance for any one trade. Just because it's more of it's still taking me time to I still in my mind think of, and I have for ages, it's like Bitcoin 10k, and my position sizes have always been based off of that, and for me to see
I see what you mean.
For profit and loss now to be magnified by 5-6x from what I'm used to, still takes a lot of getting used to. So I haven't changed my US dollar position sizes too much from there. I don't feel so much the need to, because spot is doing enough anyway. I don't feel like I need to be too aggressively trading at the moment, which is quite a nice position to be in. And again, why every time we have days like today, I seem to always be the one. People get bearish, and obviously it can still go lower, but I seem to always be the one that's just like, why wouldn't you buy? just buy these levels up. We're at support. Don't get bearish at support. But for me, it's quite easy to say that because I'm not risking too much of my account on any one trade at the moment. I'm letting the spot do most of the work.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. Anything else you want to cover at the moment? In terms of Bitcoin.
No, I'm good. I'm just. What are you using in terms of leverage at the moment and stuff?
Right. I try to stick to 2x in terms of, if 2x or I go, just spot, I go in a spot long.
Yeah.
But 2x, maybe 3x recently, at a maximum is what I'd use in terms of position size. Apart from that, I don't really I don't really mess with it. And like you said, I don't my USD position size, I always roughly keep it around the same.
Yeah.
Obviously, depending on how confident I'm on the trade, I would, alter it to within my area, but I haven't really changed it, that much from when Bitcoin was, a bit lower.
Yeah.
To now.
Yeah, that's cool. I think that's a sensible way to do it, because, and again, you can increase leverage depending on the conditions. So if we do stay in a range for like another week or something, then it's probably going to get to the point where Bitcoin's only moving like 1 or 2% per day, in which in those times it's a bit safer to up the leverage to keep the percentage of, so if you're looking to make like 20% on your account or something, then you can up the leverage a little bit during those less volatile times, whereas when things are really volatile, then you could just do that in spot on its own. So.
I mean, in the mornings when you wake up, do you have a routine in terms of what you do when looking at the charts? I mean,
yeah, so I'm changing that a little bit at the moment because I've started doing the streaming thing. But basically, I always used to. I quite like looking at the daily open close. Now that's at 1 a.m. It's a bit more annoying.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'll often set sort of like levels, set my previous day value area, high, low, point of control, set those on the daily open, and then just see if there's anything I want to trade the next day when we get the new daily open. In the morning, I'll just go over again, just looking at what potential trades there are in that day. So maybe kind of local fibs, point of control, do some stuff on exo, and then I tend to just do a scan of alts, or just checking over any positions that I've got. So in the morning I'll just it's just basically checking everything, so checking any open positions, checking what levels there are and whether anything's changed, and then just kind of doing other stuff and setting alerts and things, and just seeing what happens the rest of the day. Then you've got your alerts set and you can relax a bit.
Yeah, definitely.
How about you?
I always, I used to stay up until 12, when it was 12, and then end up putting in the previous day levels and going from there. Obviously, there was a point where I was trading a lot of CCV setups, is in that round, because it seems to be playing out for a while at some point, but I haven't, since you said 1 o'clock, when it starts at 1 o'clock, sometimes I can't be asked to stay awake, so I then have to sleep and sort in the previous day, section out in the morning and then go from there. But I always like to mark out the previous day levels first, because it gives me a nice indication to know what happened yesterday, the range of yesterday we're in.
Exactly, and even if even if there's not like a setup from that, so even if you don't have a CCV or anything like that, at least you can still trade those levels no matter what time of day it is, whether there's any setup going on there or anything. So that's the thing I often find as well, is that why I like to check like the daily open is that a lot of the time those moves will happen quite quickly. So if there is a setup to be had on the previous day levels, you'll often get a trade like within the first couple of hours off of that. So you can almost like anticipate it, and if we do open outside of a value area, then it almost is like, okay, look for a long just to go into the night with, or look, if you open above the value area, then you can look for a short to hold overnight. So just little things like that. But...
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to be trading off a lot of this session naked point of controls we've been getting. Like recently, I don't know if it will show it here. I'm not able to show it on my Exo, but there was one where I caught the low. It was really nice. Let me try and find it. Oh, Exo's taking it out where it took out the last day one. Yeah, was it this one here?
Yeah, that looks good.
It might have been here, but here it literally like it took it to the apps, like it was really the low of the whole move. Yeah, it was this because I remember looking at the and then we came literally onto the lows here.
Yeah.
You know, it's also a trade I've been taking a lot recently. Where we have a 786 or that 786/83, that little combination I was telling you about on a naked session point of control. I've literally been taking that trade like a lot of the time recently, and then literally up here as well. We came into it at one point.
Yeah.
I think I posted it in the group. If I can probably share this to you.
Yeah, sure.
You might have seen it if you haven't. Okay. Yeah. So we have that, and then.
Okay. Whoops, that's the wrong screen.
Yeah, the second one. The second one's what actually happened. I removed all the stuff from my chart, so it's quite hard to explain now, but that should show it. At the time, literally into 786 onto a naked point of control.
Yeah, that's really nice. And yeah, that's doing what you were saying is yeah, it kind of like hit it to the dollar and then just again like we keep on saying, it's like hit it to the dollar and then it just quickly takes those lows and then has the bounce. Yeah, that's nice. What's the other one? I'll just bring this one up as well. Oh, and then it came back into it.
Yeah, this one here actually should show it properly. I think there. That one there, that's where it came into at the top. But I don't know if you want to look into that maybe yourself as well. Let me know what you think of some of these.
Yeah, I'll look at that. So
because I know you don't really do scalp. Do you scalp a lot at all, or not really? You know.
Yeah, I do. I haven't been doing so much like the last few weeks. Just because I tend to go if I'll just bring this up again. Yeah, so London naked point of control in the yeah, that's really cool. I will definitely look into this. Yeah, for scalping it's more where my attention is. So at the moment I'm doing a lot of alts, and that's I'm just going through that phase of trading the altcoins. But once those all kind of hit targets, or I'm happy with profit on all of that, and when things go back into Bitcoin, that's when I tend to start getting a lot more technical and trading Bitcoin from all of those technical levels. So for me, I use the 4-hour naked point of controls quite a lot as well. I've never really looked. I've not looked into the session stuff. I'll have to do that because again, some of those that you've got there, and we've got this New York. Is that New York naked point of control, or the London naked point of control coming up just above?
Wait, can you hear me? Yeah. Exocharts is now in maintenance mode, so there's that. I'm guessing we have to wait like usually a few minutes and then it'll come back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, definitely have a look into it. I feel like the sessions they work quite, decently well. I know Daniel's going to cover that eventually.
Yeah.
But I know I also like to use single prints as well, but they're not too much, too strong of confluence, but inefficiencies in the chart. why not have a look at them? And yeah,
that's it. I think
but
I think with single prints and stuff, because you tend to just be able to get an idea of
yeah,
what's there. Like there's not going to be any here. We've probably actually just filled a single print. There was probably one on that move up on like the 29th of March where it's just like those few green candles. I'd imagine there was some single print going on in there, and they've probably been filled now. In terms of like the range that we've got here, everything's been back tested. So
yeah. I mean, if anyone was, on the stream, if anyone's curious of what's a good, next confluence or positions or areas to be interested in, I feel like this here 54k also looks, it's got the GME gap there as well. So that's the thing. But I'd be cautious with it as well because of how people would probably be expecting that CME gap to obviously be filled and then get the straight bounce.
yeah,
I'd want it to. It'd be too easy. I feel it seems a bit too easy.
it does. So that's why I'm thinking, like I think it might happen.
Yeah.
But if it does,
Yeah,
I
sure.
think it's going to have to be when there's a lot less people looking at it, which is why I'm fairly confident in this bouncing, because I think it needs to
I
get
see what you
people
mean.
bullish again,
Yeah.
and just really like almost bore people out of their positions in a range again before it could then move down.
Come down. Yeah. People need to forget about it. It needs to just not be in people's heads.
Yeah, and if being in a range for another week can shake out, like ranges do a much better job of shaking out retail than a dump does, because
people just get bored and
they get bored and go away, and they get chopped up on small trades. Whereas one move down, people will just take a loss, and unless they've liquidated their whole account, that's just one trade, and then they can get like to let them get back in again right at a low is just silly. So I think a lot of people are expecting lower now. It could obviously it could happen, but
I feel like this area here has got a lot of I'm just looking at it again. This area here has got a lot of confluence here. So just this whole box. CC, your previous month value and a naked point of control coming in here. So this could possibly do, that something like this.
Yeah, because it could be one of those where it just like it did again back in March, where it hit like a nice level and then just went through that and got people bearish again, expecting even lower. It was when I remember when people were looking for like there was the Elon pump, wasn't there, and everyone was thinking like 38 to 42k, and we only ended up reaching 45 or something. And you could get something like that where it could potentially come down to like 52 400, and it's gone like way below the 54k, but then it regains or something. So
I mean these if anything, these four levels are the ones I'm interested in the most, to be honest. 60k, 58,775, 56,156, and 54k. I think that's what we've been in for a while now, it seems, from back here. Seems to just be causing deviations above and below. But I feel like the main takeaway from this range thing is the stops. I know a lot of people that I speak to, even it's the stops getting set like below like the most recent low, and it's just really it's throwing a lot of people off of the SFPs. But I just feel like if anyone's listening, probably try look for different invalidations on your trade. If you can go two lows below the most recent low, if that makes any sense, then set that as your stop loss to give you a bit more leeway in terms of your trade being wrong and it just being SFP'd.
Yeah, and you could even look at if it was in a range before or something, because sometimes you're not going to have a low within like a good risk to reward that's worth putting a stop, but you could look at like what maybe like a point of control of like a small range there, or like a value area or something like that. Yeah, finding other invalidations is quite a big thing, because it's so easy just to put it at a pivot and then that gets stopped. So.
Yeah, that's for sure. Anything else you want to cover, Luke?
No, I think I'm good. I think we'll probably wrap that up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can just pull back because I've got my screen just in the background anyway. So I've just basically dragged Zoom over because I still haven't figured out how to stream properly. So just gonna have a quick look. Yeah, I think we've covered everything. So we have that's what my setup is basically, and we've got the monthly open here. This is where that's we've got the golden pocket there. That's unlocked. That's not helpful. And I'm not sharing with you. So it's the same levels that I've got that you have basically. It's this monthly open, which is our point of control of that merged TPO.
Wow.
You had
I haven't even got my monthly open. Oh, I do actually. This place is different. Yeah. Wow, that looks nice. I feel like if we can get a short from that swing high, or that high you said that we could possibly like take out the CC and hit the point of control. I thought that'd be a nice short position to sit in for a while if someone is to be out there again.
It's quite a big trade to get all the way back up there. There is still a lot of resistance before them, but I do think if it can get back into this range, then it seems quite likely. At that point, it seems reasonable. And then you could look to take it down to the CME. Then people would start to get really bearish because you'd lose this consolidation pattern. That's when it could work, because you'll have so many people thinking, right, we're coming to the end of this consolidation now. A breakout is going to get continuation, but then that's when it could fake out and move. So that's when you could get a really good trade off of it. I just feel like now is too early, because if we do just do that, then you're still within this area. It just doesn't feel it doesn't feel right to go all the way down here now. And sometimes you just have to just go on a gut feeling and go for that. But obviously I'd still buy this level probably.
That 54k level looks nice. I mean,
cool. Well, I'll wrap it up here. Thanks to everyone that was viewing. Thanks to you for contributing and sharing your screen and everything, mate. It was really really useful. And we'll do this again soon, hopefully. That'll do. I'll just I'll end the stream here. Thanks, guys.